What's up, everybody? My name is Parasite. Welcome back to Over the Top with Manchester City. Today we have Liverpool in the Premier League. They're currently top of the table. We are sitting in fourth. Not very good. We then have Swansea in the Carabao Cup. What round is this? It is the semi final of the Carabao Cup. So we might be able to get to a final, but in terms of results, it's not been good. I'm still not happy with how this team is performing. We've had a couple of good results, but a couple of bad results as well, and I'm just not happy with how this team is playing at all. If you look since we last saw you, we started off terribly after the Tottenham match. 2 losses in a row to Wolves, who were like mid-table, and then Watford, who were like a point above the relegation zone. It was just an awful performance. Our front three, absolutely horrific in both games. Sterling 6.5, Lukaku 6.7, Mara 6.5, Foden 6.5, Silva 6.4. De Bruyne didn't step up. He's the only person that can step up and do anything in these games. It's Kevin De Bruyne. And we were awful, but we had 14 shots, but none on target. That is how terrible the front three was. They had 14 shots, 1.66 XG, and they couldn't put a single shot on target. Lukaku is a terrible player in this game. I don't understand it. He was fine last year for Inter Milan. He had a 7.3 average rating. He's got a 6.9 for us. He's been bad. He just can't play in the Premier League. Then lost to Watford 1-0. They scored in the 89th minute. And again, we absolutely destroyed them. 19 shots to 3. 2 shots on target to 6. They scored one of their 2 shots on target. We scored none of our 6. Awful. 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 And Stefan has been awful as well. He's not been any better than Ederson. Next game after that, we played Newcastle. Got a good result this time, a win, but it's still a 3-2. Laporte scored an own goal in the 48th minute. And they were actually up 2-0 in this game. Then Sterling came back, scored in the 59th. His first goal in a while. Lukaku scored in the 62nd. His first goal in a while. And then Ferran Torres in the 89th minute to give us the winner. So, probably didn't deserve the win there. I think we destroyed them again. Oh yeah, we had 40 shots in this game. 40! And we didn't score a single goal until our 25th shot. We went 24 shots without a single goal. We scored our 25th, and we scored 2 of our next 15 shots? This team, 5, and then again, we've underscored our XG in every single game we've played in this stretch. 5.5 XG. That is ridiculous. We only scored 3 goals. They had good ratings, Torres, Sterling, and Foden, but they obviously missed a crap ton of chances. They are so bad. They only score gimmies. You have to be, it has to be a tap-in for them to score a goal. Otherwise, they're not going to score. And then played Charlton, beat them 3-1. Should be a good result against Charlton team. It was 1-1 after 15 minutes, and I was worrying because it looked like we were going to crap our pants again, but we were able to get a couple more goals. And then 34th by John Stones. Another Stones goal, and then a penalty in the 75th minute. So, again, it wasn't really that convincing. We looked at the match stats. 13 shots to 3. They scored 1 of their 3. We scored 3 of our 7. So, that's better from us, but still just not good enough. Did we underscore our XG again? I think we actually might have overperformed our XG. We actually overperformed our XG. All it takes is a League 1 team. Are they League 1? I want to say League 1. League 1, yeah. All it takes is a League 1 team for us to oversell our XG. So we then lose. We drew with Swansea 3-3. They went up 2-0, and I couldn't believe it. Again, they scored their first 2 shots on target. I'm pretty sure they had 3 shots on target this game. Every single one of them went in. I'm a big positive, but I'm pretty sure, 3 shots on target, 4 shots total, 3 goals. 16 shots. We scored every single one of our shots on target, but we had a much higher XG than they did. We actually outperformed our XG, but I don't know. This team is just so bad. It took Mendes getting a goal, De Bruyne, and then finally Ferran Torres in the 54th minute. I benched Lukaku because he was playing so terribly. He's back in now, but I benched him for a little bit because he was just awful. Somehow he got a good rating in this Fulham match. He got a 7.4, even though he did absolutely nothing. Didn't have a goal or an assist. Didn't see him touch a football, but somehow still got a 7.4 average rating. Beat Fulham 2-1, but it's just not been good enough. Barely beating Newcastle, barely beating Fulham, okay result against Charlton, drawing with Swansea, and now we're going to get absolutely destroyed by Liverpool. And if you want to see the squad that's going to get absolutely destroyed, I'll show you right now. This is the squad I'm going with. This is the in-form squad I've got right now. The best I can get to an in-form squad. Lukaku up top. Like, Ferran Torres has to be on the left because Sterling's injured. Oxlade's ineligible to play against his parent club, so really my only option is Ferran Torres or Jack Grealish, and Jack Grealish has been horrific. He hasn't had one competent game yet. He's had like a 6.8 or below in every single game he's played, it feels like. So Ferran Torres is going to get the start. Phil Foden on the right, because Riyad Mahrez is injured. He was on international duty, and he came back injured. He's out for just 1 to 3 days, but so Phil Foden has to play. Barbosa's been terrible, too. 6.56 in his last 5 games, so absolutely awful. Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne have been pretty decent. Silva, not as much. Kevin De Bruyne has just been fantastic. Fernandinho, him and Camavinga aren't really doing anything, but what's his name? Rodri's been absolutely awful. 6.64 in his last 5. He's kept a 6.6 rating for like the past 4 months. I don't know if he's gone above a 6.6 in the last 4 months for average rating. 6.64 on the season. He's been so bad. So Fernandinho, he's got big matches, so he's going to play this match. Alaba has come back in. I had a couple injuries to left back, so I had to bring him in. And Nuno Mendes has been awful. He had a good game recently, so it looks better than it has been, but he was just so bad for a long stretch of games. So he got dropped. Alaba came in. Laporte, Stones at center back seem to be pretty decent. Kyle Walker has not been very good, but again, I don't have an option because Serginho Dest is on international duty. João Cancelo's injured, so I could put Gabriel Menino there, but he's not been good either. So I'm going to go with Kyle Walker, and you'll see Ederson has come back into the team. Didn't really have much of a choice because Zach Steffen's on international duty, and I just don't trust Muric to play a game like this. Like, he's not done anything really to give me hope. Like, he's played against like League 2 teams, and he did all right. I don't think I can play him against a Liverpool or even a Swansea. I don't think I can play him. So I'm bringing Ederson back. This is his final chance. Like I said, Steffen hasn't been doing any better. If we look at his stats, 75% save percentage, which is low, should be around the 80s, high 70s, low 80s. Ederson, I think, also has a 75%. 75%, yep. So they've been equally awful. I'm trying to bring in a new goalkeeper. I want to bring in Donnarumma. He wants to leave, but they are unwilling to let him leave. So I'm just going to keep putting pressure on him. I've made him my number 1 target. I've put in a bunch of bids for him. I've put in scouts to watch him. So I'm going to try to wear him down because Ederson is not it. Steffen is not it. Muric is not it. I mean, I'm trying to sell Sterling too because he is just terrible. But nobody wants him. Supposedly, Real Madrid have been chasing him for like 5 months, and I put him out there, and they're like, nope, we don't want him. Never mind. They literally just had a report like the day before they're scouting him at our match, and they don't want him now. So, I mean, it's probably not a bad call because he's just a terrible player, and he's probably have to be sold for hundreds of millions, and whoever spends $100 million is bankrupting their club to get Raheem Sterling for hundreds of millions of dollars. So, Torres is going to start. Let's get into the game. This just isn't going to go well. I'm not going to go attacking. Definitely not going to go attacking. I'm going to go balanced. And I'm going to go standard passing. Let's just see. I mean, I've moved Lukaku to a complete forward on attack. I'm trying everything to get him to work. Like, he doesn't seem to work in any role. Against the smaller teams, I'm going to start playing more 4-2-3-1 just so he can go up to an advanced forward and doesn't have to do anything in the build-up and can just score goals. Maybe that'll help him get back into scoring ways. It's just don't tell him to do anything but put ball in back of goal. That is your only job. Like in this, he has to be a little bit more creative. Has to drop deep, kind of play in his teammates, but it just doesn't work. He's not creative. He's not getting any assists. Does he have a single assist in the Premier League on the season? No. Not a single assist on the season in the Premier League. Has 1 assist in non-competitive, 1 in continental competitions, and 3 international competitions. So he has 1 in a competitive match for us through like 25 games. I don't know. Let's just see what happens. I'm not optimistic, but you never know. This team is a crapshoot. I'm going to say we owed Liverpool after what happened in our last match. Go out there and get revenge. Revenge shots always work. Tell them I have faith. Faith. How are you approaching the task of breaching the Premier League's best defense? They're very hard to beat and might have to accept they're the better team. How are you approaching the task of keeping the Premier League's leading goal scorers quiet? They always score goals. It's who they are as a team, so it rests with us to find a proper way to beat them. Sure, I'm not optimistic. I'm not going to act like I'm optimistic. This is not going to go well. We're at least at home, so that's something, but it doesn't seem to matter home or away. We're awful regardless. They have Ward-Prowse on their team. That's interesting. Yeah, they're just way ahead of us. We're out of the Premier League title race. It's not even competitive. We are just so bad in the Premier League. We're not very good in continental competition really either, but we're just so bad in the Premier League. Against any sort of competent team or not competent team, it doesn't even matter if they're competent or not. We're going to just do nothing against them. Our front three is just... It's one of the worst I've ever used in Football Manager. For a quote-unquote big team, it is the worst front three I have ever used. And it wasn't good last year with Sergio Aguero or Gabby Jesus. Like, Lukaku's got to score the second one at least. Good gosh, he almost missed an open net. Well, he did miss an open net, but then he had another chance at a completely open net, and the second time he didn't miss. I can't believe he missed that first shot. Good God. Terrible back pass. Who played the pass? Was it Firmino that played the pass back? Yep, Firmino. Lukaku intercepts and misses an open net, gets a rebound, and can't miss the second one. Like, that's the kind of shots they have to score goals. Open nets. That's like, they're not scoring difficult goals. They're always underperforming their XG. They're just not scoring goals that they, quote unquote, shouldn't score. If it's difficult at all, they're just not doing it. And you have to have a player that can score difficult goals if you're going to try to be the best team in the league, because teams are going to just sit back in a low block against you, and you got to find a way through. You got to find a long shot, or you got to find just a tight angle shot that you can put in the back of the net, because it's not going to be easy. And that's just how we've not been able to score. It's just we've not had easy chances. Teams have not allowed us to get off easy chances, unlike that one. Other than that one, we have not been able to get off easy chances, and we've not been scoring them. So, very disappointing. Doesn't seem to matter who I put in the front three. None of them seem to do well. Like, Lukaku's got a good rating, but he had a gimme, so you can't really give him a whole lot of credit for that. I mean, you got to give him credit for cutting the ball out in the first place, showing some initiative, but the finish, he missed an open net first. Like, I don't know what to do with this team. I think I've decided that even if we don't win the Champions League this season, this will be the last season of as that happens. This will be the last season of Over the Top with Manchester City. If I don't do it this season, I'm going to call it a quits. I'm going to call it a failure, because I just can't play another season with this team. I can't. It's going to destroy my mental health if I try to play another season with this team. They're so infuriating. I just can't do it. So this will be the last season. It's now or never for Manchester City. Maybe I'll give them another chance a couple years down the line when maybe they alter some of their players so they're actually decent. Like, make Sterling a competent player. Oh, Lautaro Martinez misses basically an open net. That looked like one of our strikers. But yeah, maybe they make Sterling competent. Maybe they make Ferran Torres better. Foden better. Foden's just not good in this game. 6.4 in this match. Like, he's just not good in this game. Maybe he develops into being a good player, but off the bat, he's just not good. He should be much better in the next FM. 2-0 lead, though. Like, I didn't see that one coming. I'm going to say, don't get complacent. Don't look at the scoreboard and think the job is done. We have to pick up where we just left off. Liverpool are very capable of scoring 2 quick goals. They've got Van Dijk, who can score from corners easily. Martinez is a good finisher. Firmino's a good striker. Jota's a good finisher. Running Jordan Veretout in the midfield. They've got a couple different midfield options for this game. And they got the best set-piece taker in the league. Ooh, and that probably should have been a goal. I just said how Van Dijk is really good from corners, and he nearly scores a corner goal. But we're able to clear it off the line. Yeah, the combination of James Ward-Prowse and Virgil van Dijk is absolutely disgusting. They brought in James Milner on the left-hand side and Awani on the right, so I think they're giving up. So I'll take off Kevin De Bruyne, bring on Ilkay Gundogan. Ferran Torres somehow has had a decent game, even though I've not seen him do much. Bring in Jack Grealish. And then I'll take off Bernardo Silva. I'm going to do a little switcheroo. Move Foden for Silva. And then bring in Gabby Barbosa. Actually, got a 2-0 lead. Let's cancel those changes real quick. Let's bring in Stevanovic for Torres. Give him a little bit of game time. Still take off Foden. Bring in Gabriel Barbosa. And bring in Grealish for De Bruyne. There we go. Give some players that haven't played a lot of games a little bit of game time. Hopefully they don't screw up and allow 2 goals or 3 goals even in 10 minutes. I'm hoping this team is still good enough. I didn't change anything defensively, so we should still be good enough defensively to not concede 3 goals or even 2 goals. I want to win this game. If we don't get a win from this position, it'll be an absolute failure of this team. Put that across. No, Lukaku, you got to square that. 2 players arriving at the back post for an easy tap in, and he goes for goal from a pretty tight angle. That's never going to go in. I don't know what that is either. Fernandinho's had a decent game so far. Only a 6.6, but I haven't seen him put a foot wrong, so I don't understand ratings for players in this game. I didn't see Lukaku do much other than score his goal, and he's on a 7.3. And I haven't seen Fernandinho put a foot wrong, and he's on a 6.6. Deep line playmakers just cannot get good ratings in this game. It's physically impossible for a deep line playmaker to consistently get a good rating. You're never going to have one that averages over a 7 unless you're playing like Verratti in the League 2 or something like that. So, yeah, you need to just complete golfing quality for you to ever have a good rating for a deep line playmaker over the course of an entire season. But they didn't have a single shot on target. That was a good game. Defensively, we were very good. Ederson keeps a clean sheet. Of course, he didn't have to save a single shot. So that is his perfect kind of game. Somehow he gets a 7.3 without a single save. How? How does he do that? I don't understand. That's just what we need to do. We need to not allow a shot on target. Then Ederson can't be terrible. I'm very happy with the result and the way you played. That was a great performance. I did not see it coming, but you've got to be pleased with that result and the performance as impressive as that. I'm very happy we did everything we set out to do and proved to be by far the better team somehow. How do you think the 2 teams fared against each other from a tactical perspective? I learned a lot, which is a good thing. I'll go away and think about how we can react to what unfolded out there. That brings us right... I'm not going to say it brings us back into the title race because it really doesn't. We're still pretty far out. But it brings us a little bit more into the league a little bit. I mean, Wolves still have 3 games in hand on us. So we're just tied on points with Arsenal too, which got a much better goal difference. Goal difference-wise, we're not doing terribly. 31 compared to the 37 for Liverpool. Both have the same amount of losses. We just have 4 draws. 2 of them against Norwich and Leeds, which just aren't good enough. Everton probably should be beating. Man United's tough, but the losses against Watford, Wolves, those aren't good enough. Obviously, we lost against Liverpool the last time we played them, so I'll advance a little bit further now. I'm going to play 2 games in between. Then we'll play the Swansea match in the EFL Cup Semi Final second leg. So I'll see you in a little bit for that. I despise this team. I thought they were turning it around and getting into some good form and starting to play well. And then they go out and show me they have the mental fortitude of paper mache. They just, Ederson is the worst player I've ever used. I legitimately think he's the worst player I've ever used. He just doesn't make saves. He just doesn't do it. He rarely ever makes saves. Again, this last match, Sheffield United, they had 4 shots on target, scored 3 goals. That is the case for almost every single game I play. We started off, after that big win against Liverpool, beat Tottenham 1-0. It wasn't that convincing, but a 13-minute goal by Ruben Diaz. The front 3 was absolutely awful again. Grealish, 6.4. He might be the second worst player I've ever used. But, hey, we got a clean sheet. But guess how many shots on target they had? 2. He had to make 2 saves. Congratulations, you made 2 saves. I could make 2 saves. Their goalkeeper made 6. You never see that from Ederson. Ederson does not save 6 shots in a single game all season long. Like, they're doing it consistently. The opposing keeper is consistently like keeping out like 5 or more shots every single game because our front three is so bad. But the opponents we're facing, who are like Sheffield United, have 4 shots on target, score 3 goals with 0.6 xG. Compared to our 1.72, but Lukaku, terrible. He is awful. Never buy Lukaku. Grealish, awful. Never buy Grealish. Foden, maybe he gets better in the future, but as of now, he's pretty awful. He got a goal and still scored a 6.8. Ox is terrible. De Bruyne had a terrible game, but that's not the norm. De Bruyne is usually amazing, but he's had an off game. Camavinga, terrible. Deep lying playmakers in general, terrible. If you just never use the role. I don't know why I'm still using it, but just never use the role. It's absolutely broken in this game. Absolutely broken. Walker, again, terrible. Ederson, worst player I've ever used. Definitely the worst goalkeeper I've ever used. So now I'm prepared for Swansea to have 3 shots on target, 3 goals, us to have about 10 shots on target, score 1. How much you want to bet this what's going to happen? In terms of the squad we're putting out, this is it. Ederson's going to keep his spot. If Stefan was any better, I would definitely play him 100%, but he's just not. So I might as well pay the keeper we're paying $200,000 a week to. João Cancelo's going to come in for Kyle Walker because he was awful. Diaz and Stones are going to start together because... where is he? Laporte, right there. Laporte is exhausted for some reason. He didn't get injured. He's just completely exhausted. I don't know why. But, so he's not playing. Alba continues at left back. He's been pretty decent. Fernandinho comes into defensive midfield because Camavinga's awful. Not Ruben Diaz, but Rodri is awful. So there's no good choice there. Screw it. Deep defensive midfielder defend. Keep taking off deep lying playmaker. Hopefully this will do something. I don't know. Kevin De Bruyne is tired, but he's going to play because he's our only competent player. Gundogan's going to come in because Bernardo Silva's a little bit tired. Foden on the right, Torres on the left, Lukaku up top. Terrible front three. Never buy that front three. Might also have 4 stars, but they should have 2 stars. They have the quality of a 2-star player. Let's see what happens. We're not good against them last time we played them, but this is a home game. Hopefully it's more like the Liverpool game and less like the Sheffield Wednesday game. I'm going to thrash my arm and say I expect you to come back after the match as finalists. My only expectation. I'm expecting to see solid defensive work. Expecting you to take control of the midfield. No faith. I'm expecting you to score some freaking goals with Lukaku. Again, he has like 1 in the past 2 months. As Swansea have the worst defense in the EFL Cup, you must consider Man City favorites to win. Only a fool would write off a team of their caliber. They're extremely capable, and we know what it takes for us to win here. As the leading scorers in the EFL Cup, are you looking forward to another positive match in front of goal? We do not have a good goalkeeper. I want my boys to play on the front foot, and the boys have done that really well so far. I think they can continue in this way. I'm still trying to get Donnarumma. I don't think it's going to happen. They completely refuse to sell him. No matter what price I put out there, they just turn it down every time. I could throw $300 million out there and they turn it down. They just refuse to sell him. So, and there's really no other options on the market that are any good. So I don't have any choice. Like, I have to stick with Ederson, the worst goalkeeper in the Premier League. It's so frustrating. So frustrating. This team should be so good, but I don't know what Football Manager did to them. Like, this tactic is good. I'm creating buttloads of chances. I'm getting like 7 shots on target every single game. Over 15 shots every single game. Over 1.5 to 2 XG every single game. We're just not scoring goals. We're not doing anything defensively. We're not making a single save. It's the players. Like, I feel like the tactic's doing pretty well. The players are just letting this team down. I don't know what FM did to them, but I would not suggest ever using Manchester City. Especially if you're new to the game and want a little bit introduction to the game, want a little bit easier way into the game. Do not choose Man City. I feel like I'm pretty good at this game, as evidenced by some of my previous series I've done. I've been pretty successful, and this team has broken me. Like, if you're new, you're just going to get absolutely destroyed. You're probably going to get relegated. This team is so bad. Kevin De Bruyne, though, like, if they didn't have Kevin De Bruyne, they probably should be relegated. But De Bruyne is just amazing. One of the best players I've ever used. I I feel sorry for him being around such a bunch of crap popsicles. I don't know. What do you even call this team? Crap popsicles? Is that not appealing, but that pretty much reflects what I think of this team. We've got a 1-0 lead though. It's all up to Kevin De Bruyne to carry us. He had a bad game last game and we were awful. So it's just all on Kevin De Bruyne. This entire team is just reliant on Kevin De Bruyne. No one else is stepping up. Lukaku, you have to score this. You have to score this. Good God. He is horrific. One of the worst strikers I've used in this game. One of the worst, quote-unquote, good strikers I've used in this game. He's horrible. He mixes all the... That wasn't even a difficult chance. That was a freaking gimme and he missed it. He usually makes gimme chances, but not that one. He's so bad he can't even make that gimme. I can't wait to be done with this team. I'm sorry if I'm negative, but this team just gets in my head. Makes me want to just punch myself in the face. Ferran Torres missing it from basically straight on. I mean, that was a pretty tough angle, but probably should have done better. Might have gotten blocked if he tries to go across the goalkeeper there, but you at least got to try. Don't just hit it straight at him. They're always gonna make the save. The other team's goalkeepers are always so freaking good. We're just lucky they don't have a shot yet, because if they did and it was on target, it'd probably be in the back of the net. Cancelo seemed to have a decent game so far. Better than Kyle Walker. If I was going forward, I need a new right back. I need a new left winger. I mean, Riyad Mahrez was good last season, so if we could get Riyad Mahrez back, he's just not fit for this game. If we could get him back and playing well, like, we would be all right on the right wing, but Foden is not good enough. Gabriel Barbosa is just horrific. He is no better than Gabby Jesus. They're pretty much, like I showed their charts, and they're like similar players. They play similarly too. Both awful. Jesus, I looked at his ratings for Arsenal, and he has been bad. He's averaging like a 6.83 with 20-some starts and like 4 goals. He's just awful. Barbosa's awful. That might be winning, but that could all change if your performance levels drop. Don't let that happen. Don't let them have a shot. That is just... Ederson is just so reliant. Oh, they had a shot and it didn't go in. Color me shocked. We've had 16 shots, only put 3 on target. Lukaku misses a gimme header. Literally, basically an open goal. And Lukaku misses it. John Stones, I said before, our defenders are more consistent scoring than our forwards. Like, they have more goals between them than I think our front three has combined. Okay, maybe not, but it's not as far off as it should be. That's like, well, how many goals did that say for Stones? It's like 6 or 7? De Bruyne is injured. That's great. What is it? Bruised ankle. You're fine. It's a bruise. I never take a player off for a bruise unless the game's already over. Foden's been awful. Let's take him off. I mean, I don't have a good backup option. De Bruyne or Barbosa's terrible. Still is tired. I'll bring on Barbosa. I don't think he's done a single thing all season. I don't think he has a goal. Actually, no, I do think he has 1 goal. And it might have been a penalty. Yeah, he's just been terrible. He's not done anything. I mean, to be fair, not many of our front three have done anything. But this is his chance from a tight angle, save. I wish Ederson could ever make a save like that. That goes in if that's Ederson. No doubt in my mind that goes in if that's Ederson. Let's take off De Bruyne now. We're on Jack Grealish. I guess I'll take off Ferran Torres. Even though Lukaku somehow has a good rating. How? How does he steal good ratings? He doesn't do anything. He misses gimme chances. That's all he does. And he gets good ratings for it. I don't understand. Bring in Stevanovic. This game should be over. Tell the team to focus. It's all my subs, right? Yeah. This game better be over. There's 5 minutes left. We're up 2-0. And they're through on goal, but good defense. Good job by the defender to get back. He's going to chip the keeper. Good lord. How do Swansea caliber players do that, but Lukaku misses a header on an open net? Explain that to me. Lukaku, who I paid $100 million for, who's valued at $100 million, can't score an open goal header. He missed an open goal shot the last game. And Morgan Whitaker, who's probably valued at $70K, is doing chips like that. It doesn't make any sense. How does Barbosa get a 6.5 in 10 minutes? How are you so bad in 10 minutes? I hate this team. That was a bit of a let-off. We weren't good enough. Had to step up against better competition. Not good enough. Well done on reaching the EFL Cup Final. How does it feel? It's a nice moment, but the job isn't done, so we shouldn't celebrate too much. It was a difficult time, but you managed to emerge victorious on aggregate. How do you feel? I really do not think our performance merited the wins, but of course we'll take it. Just not good enough. That's just describes this team to a T. Not good enough. Only 1 or 2 days for Kevin De Bruyne. That's good. De Bruyne had 12 key passes. No one has ever carried a team harder than Kevin De Bruyne carries this team. Okay, maybe Belgium. Maybe he carries Belgium as much as he carries this team. But I don't think I mentioned it last time, but we did get our Champions League first knockout round opponent. It's going to be Gladbach. That should be winnable. That should be very, very winnable. If we don't win that tie, I might just end it there. I mean, after we're out of the Champions League, there's nothing else to play for. We're not going to win the league. That wasn't even a point of this save. So if we lose that tie, I might just call it done early. But I guess I'll come back for the first leg and the EFL Cup Final next episode. Then I'll do Gladbach and Chelsea or Arsenal or Chelsea. One of those two. How are Chelsea doing in the league? 9th? That's not great. Arsenal are 3rd. So I'll probably do Gladbach and Arsenal for the next episode. The episode after the next. Which might be the last. We'll see. But I'll see you next episode for Gladbach and the EFL Cup Final. Who do we have in that? Who's playing? Arsenal and Wolves. So it's probably going to be Arsenal. So maybe I won't do Arsenal for the other one if we're doing Arsenal in the EFL Cup Final. But whatever. I'll see you for that episode. If you made it this far, why don't you like the video, subscribe, and click the bell. The links to all my socials are also in the description. I really appreciate all your support. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you next time.